Hello, welcome, or welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. My name is Liz, and I will be guiding you on this journey. This is a reading for Scorpio, wherever Scorpio shows up for you. We're going to do 2025 overall, vibe check. I'm not going to go month by month because I don't remember that shit. And really, I just, like I said, I just want to get like an overall vibe check. What's the focus going to be for the year? What can you look forward to? And, of course, I would love it if you subscribed to my channel. If you haven't done so already, thank you either way. And yeah, let's get a couple cards out. I really just want like 3 or 4 cards for our Scorpios. We have the 9 of Swords, the Moon, and then the the King of Swords, the 3 of Swords, the Page of Cups. We have the Star card at the bottom of the deck. Let me just make sure everything is in frame here. Looks good. It feels like Scorpio is like going to be going deep within their subconscious, which, as a Scorpio, right? I mean, I'm sure that's probably nothing new for you, but, like really the energy is available for you this year or this coming year, if you haven't even, there's no doubt that you've already been feeling this in some capacity anyway. So I'm sure this isn't going to like come as a surprise, but truly it's like the things that could be potentially holding you back, that are stuck in your ego, that are stuck in your belief systems, whatever stories come up for you, the energy is available for you to really dig those things up and release or heal them, cleanse them, even, like with the Moon card, cleansing, even, like literally putting yourself outside under a full moon, whether that's like on your own, whether you find, a group that, maybe they do full moon rituals or something along those lines, but truly, like with intention, soaking up the energy of a full moon. Because, like full moons are when we do make those intentions for what we are releasing, what things need to be cleared out or purified, clarified. For me personally, I literally think of, I'll like attribute a color to energy within me, right? That I want to clarify. And then I literally, imagine receiving energy from the moon. Cause I'm a Cancer rising, so I don't know. But I'm also, it's like it's almost like visual, but also like it has to be almost like kind of practical too. So, cause I'm also very earth heavy, but, anyway, this is just my experience. It's just an example of, like what is even quote unquote possible, right? So of course make it your own. But so, right, I attach a color to a specific kind of energy that's just coming up for me, right? Just something that is like cycling through your consciousness. Like what is the story that just is on that hamster wheel, whether it has to do with a relationship, whether it has to do with yourself, whether it has to do, with whatever aspect of your life, right? You assign a color to it and then you literally, just set the intention to pull energy from the full moon. And then I imagine that the energy that I've assigned a color to, let's just call it pink. I imagine the energy from the moon cleansing all of that energy out, and it turns white. once it's clarified, even if it has to be done, like multiple times. The intention though is that that story, that energy no longer has the grip that it does on you. And not to mention, the Nine of Swords, nines are individual completion. The moon even simplifies down to a 9. So we have 2 nines. It's 1206 right now, which is also a 9. So you might see nines a lot. And it would also just be, again, a confirmation or like an affirmation that there is an energy that is at its conclusion. The Nine of Swords talks about fear, anxiety, right? I mean, all these thoughts up here, like, by way of these crows, just like squawking around and really even just kind of muddying our like perceptions of shit. And that's just, it's like life, right? That's just what happens. We pick up experiences, we pick up traumas, we pick up these fears, these anxieties along the way. And then at some point it's like recognizing, holy shit, like these things are just like overstimulating and overwhelming, and also how much they hold us back from stuff. And too, right, because I see swords as being also the suit of ego, because that's generally where we hear our ego is in our minds. And our egos are created by the stories that we attach to situations, to feelings, to circumstances. And it becomes our identity. It becomes our personality and our temperament. It becomes the reasons why we do and don't do things, right? So again, right, like the energy is available here to really go deep within yourself with the moon card, because the moon card is, it is the subconscious. It is the hidden things. It is the things that, we maybe hide from other people or that we don't really show, right? It also has to do with our emotions. And even, this girl is like, kind of floating under the water. I mean, it's really being entrenched, like it's literally diving into your own pool of life up to this point, right? Like, and if you've been already on a healing journey, it's going to get a little bit deeper, because truly, right, like the purpose and the point of going on your own healing journey is to truly become your most authentic and true self. And it's like, all this stuff, like, attaches onto us, or again, right, with the ego thing, we have these stories, we have these beliefs, and in looking at those things, like intentionally following the breadcrumb trail back to the root of where it came from, like, why do I have that belief? Was it my story? Like because something happened, an interaction that I had, an experience that I had, whatever, and it hurt my feelings. It was, again, traumatic. It was something to where I then attached a story to it, and then I habitually continued to tell myself that story. And now I'm sitting here like, I want to do these things. I want to have these experiences. I want to whatever. But all of this shit is just like holding me back, right? So again, going deep within yourself, really, I mean, like literally going into your own underworld, your own upside down, and sifting through all that stuff. But also it's like, once you find the root of the thing, right? Like, first of all, you have to decide if that story or belief is true or not. 9.5 times out of 10, it's not true. Not seeing it from like your adult self now, right? And then it's accepting all parts of that. It's accepting that you attach that belief to it. It's accepting that you've carried it around that long. It's accepting too that it's not true, at least in that form. And then it's like literally pouring love into that piece of you. Also, too, like I call them whole cruxes, right? Because first of all, I'm like a Harry Potter freak, but because right, like we get zapped at certain points in our lives, right, where our energy gets trapped there at whatever age, whatever experience that is. And then if anything comes close to being that same experience or having that same feeling in our body or nervous system, we tend to have the same reaction to it that we've developed over time, right? So again, like with the whole cruxes, it's releasing that energy so that it's not controlling anymore, but then also like really having to give yourself a lot of compassion and a lot of love, right? And then with the it's interesting, like, you know, so we kind of have this triangle here with the 9 of swords, King of Swords, 3 of Swords. There's a lot of also, there's air and water energy. Even the star card at the bottom of the deck is Aquarius. It's air, you know? So it's really, it's almost like literally working with your mind and your emotional body this coming year. Almost kind of, you know, like getting them on the same page. But kings are the highest expression of the suit. Right? So there's a mental clarity, there's a mental maturity there as well. I mean, they're sitting on top of a mountain contemplating something, right? But there is like a sense of accomplishment there. I mean, this could have to do with like a father figure or just an authority figure in some aspect. It doesn't necessarily have to be a father just because it's a king, but authority figure in some aspect, or even to like how you interact with people who you deem to have authority over you. And especially like with the 3 of Swords too, like there is this energy of something around the King of Swords. The 3 of Swords is where that belief even begun, because it does talk about heartbreak, rejection, betrayal, disappointment. But it's a swords card, right? So it's what stories are we attaching to that, those feelings or those experiences in our mind? This is like the root. This is, you know, how all of those beliefs like travel with you, and they, again, right, it's like overstimulating and overwhelming. And then it's interesting because then we have the Page of Cups here, which to me is like the healing that is available. Because, you know, with this trio, the 3 of Swords, the Moon, and the Page of Cups, it's almost like, you know, allowing yourself to feel the feelings of the 3 of Swords. Like, you know, the Moon would be allowing yourself to feel the feelings, even to identify what the story even is. Because a lot of us, like, until you are like intentionally on your healing journey, right? Like a lot of us are just, we're making decisions, we're doing things so unconsciously, like we have no idea why we're even acting the way that we are, that we're reacting the way that we are, until we intentionally slow down and, you know, like something happens that triggers a certain response out of us, and we're like, wait, why am I acting this way, right? Like, what is going through my mind right now? What is happening in my body right now? Like, what's emotionally going down, right? So again, it's like, if intentionally allowing yourself to recognize what the story is, and there's this like healing aspect to it. Because even too, like, look at the difference between the colors in the Page of Cups compared to like the other 4 cards that are on the table. This also has like a feeling of like the impossible being possible, because there's this, you know, pig that's flying. And, you know, of course, like when people use the term, yeah, when pigs fly, it's like, you know, they're thinking of something is impossible, but here it is. And there's this heart down here. So again, like there's some level of heart healing, but it's both emotional and mentally. mental clarity, emotional clarity too. I mean, there's all this energy coming from their heart chakra too. You could really have a heart opening, which is very emotional, of course. And it's like allowing those things that have maybe been trapped in our heart as negative experiences or negative stories or negative emotions. It's like having this heart opening to where not only is that stuff being released, but it's allowing new experiences to come in. And even too, like loving yourself differently with the star card. It's hopes and dreams. It's a lot of trusting the process too. I mean, they literally have a lasso around the sun, which is a star, right? I mean, it's our star in our solar system. And even like where they're holding their hands at their heart center. I mean, again, it's like, being open to a different experience. And again, like the color differences on this, the star card versus the majority cards on the table. So yeah, I mean, it's like literally choosing to have a different experience and being open, like literally opening your heart, opening your mind to that. But it is through healing. I love that. This is beautiful. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for allowing me to read your cards. I will talk to you soon. Bye.